Well, good morning, welcome back to Life of Dave. Another day down the boat, Tuesday morning. It's freezing fog out there today, it's really nippy. I've got the heater on, put that on. I'm just trying to warm up my resin, warm the boat up, warm everything up, get it nice and toasty in here, so we can get on with something today, hopefully. So what I really want to do today is get this end locker glassed in, inside and outside, and if I get a chance I want to go along the bottom, get it nice and warm in here so it goes off tacky and I can gel coat it all. If I can get that done I will be over the moon, and obviously when I gel coat it I've got to gel coat in here as well. So the first thing is, if I get the inside of that done, that's got to go off and be gel coated. If the outside doesn't go off, I can let that set up and then sand it. That's not a problem because I can get to it. It's a lot easier to sand. I can get the power sander on it and I can take care of that. That's not a problem on the outside. The underneath bit, I really need that to go off and gel coat it, because to get under there, sanding is again hard work. It's really awkward. It's a fiddly space. You're going into it's past 90 degrees. It goes in and then comes back on itself. So again, not the easiest of places to sand. I don't want to be laying glass up in there and then having to sand it before I can gel coat it. So what I want to do is, although I want to paint the whole boat in one, that was the plan, I think I'm just going to paint underneath there and leave that strip, and then I can go up to that and blend it in and down to it and from the top. You know what I mean? I can paint the underside, with gel coat, so it's done and finished. And that way I haven't got to mess about, keep sanding that corner. And I can always sand the edge of it where it comes down to, and just sort of like, hopefully, lose the edge when I repaint the other half. That's my plan anyway. So that's what I'm doing, because I don't want to have to keep sanding that corner out. That's just not fun at all. So there we go. So last time we were down, I got my hatches all fitted. So I've fitted the hinges. Obviously I've removed them again because I don't want them ruined, and this one fits, so I now fit the hole. The adjustment all looks good, all the hinges fit, everything I'm happy with there. I've put the hinges onto this one, so this one now, obviously I've got no handle, so I'm really hard to open with one hand. So that one fits, that's sitting in there nicely. The only thing I have got to do with this is I need to take it off, remove the hinges, and I need to just shave a little bit more off this bottom. And this isn't holding in fully tight because this screw won't bite that hole very well. So level that off. But it's sitting quite well. But yeah, I need a little bit more off the bottom just to square that up so I've got a nice even gap all the way around. And the door will open and close beautifully, without fouling on the gel coats. Once I've painted that up and it's got a thickness of the gel coat in there, that's going to lose that gap. So we won't see as much of a gap there. That's going to close that right up, and what I don't want is it sticking and rubbing through the paint, the gel coat. That's my plan anyway, so we've got to do that. So I need to shave a little bit off the bottom. I've lost my nails. There we go. Look at that. Open, close. Whee. I'm well happy with that. The other thing I was thinking of doing is taking a grinder to these and just rounding up the edges. Try and make them look a little bit neater. Look a bit squarey, a bit bulky, a bit heavy duty. At the moment, I want to maybe just see if I can tidy them up a bit. I'll try it on ones, and see how it looks. I mean, obviously, these screws are ugly. I'm not keeping those. I've lost me blooming 1mm Allen key for the screw heads that I've brought though, so I was looking at changing them over today and trying the proper bolts in there, but they'll have to wait. I've got to dig out my own keys there with my RC car stuff somewhere. But what I need to do is swap them over, bolt that in tight and see how it fits. But I can see that when that goes flat, this hinge pops out at the bottom, same as I had on that left hand locker. So I do need to build this out a little bit. I noticed that when I left last time. So I need a little bit of glass on the front here and a little bit there on them hinges, just to bring that out a bit. And I'm definitely going to need to do the same on that one, because for some reason that one, again, the hinges are right near the curve, so I need to square that out. But that's doable. I can do that whilst I'm glassing the rest of it. So today the plan is, like I say, mainly get that one glassed inside this morning so it can start curing off, like, you know, tacking off and be gel coated. And then if I've got time, I want to glass underneath. But, you know, one thing at a time. First off, let's get the locker done and we'll see what the time is. It's got to be done. It's driving me nuts. So I opened the door this morning and I looked in with that hatch cover bolted in there, and I just imagined it, yeah, all done, and it just looks beautiful. Ignoring all the, see, this is the crap that I'm working around. Small boat, nowhere to put nothing, nowhere to work. But look at that, see. Now obviously it's not finished, you can't see the full glory, but you can see what I'm going for. I think that will look bloody brilliant. Look at it. And imagine that on that side as well. You know, both sides, when you look in, looking the same like that. You know, what a use of the space that's just wasted there. You know, I see that potential and I just had to capitalise on it, and that was, you know, little thing in my head. I thought, you know, I can do something there, and that's what I've done. It's taken a very long time, a very, very, very long time. I've also got that one there that I think I had pictures I posted before, but not on, you know, before I started my YouTube. So again, I've still got to finish this one. But there's my hatch cover. It's a wee bit thinner. And there's my shelves. So this is behind, so this is my cooker and sink going in here. So then I'm going to have some little shelves in there, look. So I've got a little shelf there with a lip on the top and a bit more in the bottom. So maybe, like, you know, some cutlery, a little bit of washing up liquid, you know, bits and pieces, stuff like that. Cooking utensils, all that sort of stuff. You know, just somewhere to put a few little bits and pieces. You know, in these ones, you know, I might have, you know, a flare or something, you know. Yeah, who knows? I don't know what I'm going to use them for. I just wanted more storage space. There's bound to be stuff that I'm going to want to store, and that's where it's going to go. So then down here, we've got a big gap under the door entrance here. So I want to fill this in and block that off so I can run wiring from one side to the other. And I was also thinking maybe, like, I could have like a fire extinguisher down there or something, like, you know, have it recessed back and have an extinguisher down there, something you can get at, or fixing an extinguisher down here. We'll be a bit careful because this is my toilet in here as well, so I don't want to you know, have anything encroaching in your way. That's my electrics, going to be in there, so I've got to sort all that out. I've glassed in some blocks, old wood blocks for screwing me buzz bars and stuff too. Yeah, I've got a lot of work to do. Got to get all the steering gear back in and all of that, you know. There's a lot to do. Right, that's 10 minutes of waffling. I'm going to have to cut that down. And we're going to crack on. Mix up some filler, smear that over it so that any little pinholes in that filler that's inside and the outside are taken up, and don't leave voids when I glass over it. You know, I can go wet on wet. You know, if I go glass over this dry filler, they're all, any little pits in it are air voids, you know, guaranteed bubbles. It'll be really fun to glass in here. Get all this out. So this is the one that I fillered, number 1 locker. Ready to go. And we've hoovered this one out. So this is the 3rd locker. So what we've got to do now is put some filler into the edges in there. Cover up any little voids and pits that may be in that. Some up the back in there, down the edges so that it comes down there on the inside. Right, let's get some glass cut out, ready to go. And then I can mix up some filler and get cracking. Well, I've mixed up some filler. All I've got to do now is get it in there. Easier said than done. Right into the corners. Not looking for too much of a build up, but I have got to cover a few little bits in the corners. In there, squeeze it all into place, smooth it out. I've got to go over all this while it's still wet, and that'll hopefully allow me to
smooth it all out, finish it off whilst it's wet, brush over it with a resin to shape. I've got a lump in that corner which I've sanded but I can't remove, so I'm hoping I can now fill her over it. I've just got to get in there. Well, excuse me, filming the back of my head, but do a bit longer finger. I need ET to just come in and smear a bit down there for me. If I can't get it smooth, I'll end up with voids at the back. Well, you know, it's not going to be the end of the world. I'd rather not if I can help it. Yeah, the locker will be quite secure. It's not going to fall off. But I'd like it as good as I can get it. That's it. Much better. Right. You get little pips and voids in it. Totally unavoidable. Unavoidable. Boom, boom. Glass in it while it's still wet allowed me to lose those. That's that done. I've just got to mix up a little bit more to do the top edge. Right, so we're all good to go. I've cleaned all that up. It's been acetoned. I've spread some filler in there. So that's all ready to go. And I'm just mixing up some resin. Got my cloth cut ready. I've also cut a little bit of CSM. So my plan is I'll get all the cloth put in. And then what I was going to try and do is see if I can put a bit of CSM over the top. If that helps sort of hide it a little bit better than the cloth finish that I got on the first go. It will reinforce it as well, give it more strength. So it's only going to be a good thing. It's just as to the finish. If I get a messy CSM looking finish, as opposed to a nice neat finish, then it's obviously not going to work. But it's a bit of a tester, you know, it's a bit of a gamble. We'll see how it goes. The most awkward thing is, like, you know, I've got the front of the boat there, nice big V hole. I've got to try and balance myself in this lot. New pots, new brush, starting afresh today. No new gloves though, unfortunately. Ow! I can't get any of that breaking my neck or my leg. Yeah, I haven't got any new gloves. I've got a packet of them somewhere. You think I can find them? That's on your Nelly. Right, so while this resin's still soft, if you get some, oh sorry, the filler, if you get some resin on there, you can actually brush it. It's a resin based filler, you know, so it sort of mixes, you can thin it down, so to speak. So you can actually brush it and spread it out, which will help lose any little imperfections, lines, dimples, pits and all the rest of it. Fiddly awkward this is going to be. I'll larrup a load of resin in here, then feed the cloth in, tap it all down. Oh, not to make too much of a damn mess. And I can't see what I'm doing, so sort of by feel as well. I don't want to go over the top of the thing too much with the resin, because I don't want it all dribbling down the other side back into the side I've gel coated. Make sure I get enough in there though. Let's start, I think, with a bit of glass up this end. Get that in, run along the bottom, and then up to the other side. And you can't see what you're doing. You've got to put it into the corner and get it to stick in place. Can't see it. It's crazy. Sort of into the corner, but I can't see if it's gone flat or not. This is the other trouble with this stuff, look. It sticks to your hands, that pulls the strands off. When you're trying to smooth it out, you've got all these strands all over the blooming place. It's a nightmare. This one seems harder than the last one, to be honest. It's a lot tighter in there, and I can't see that corner. I can't see if it's gone in nice or not. I literally cannot see it. I can see the bottom bit. No, it's not going to go anywhere, but I don't want the glass sticking out, you know. Yeah, I should have brought a mirror with me. I knew that, so why didn't I? Can't see it at all. Right, I'll have a trick. Let's have a look. I'm going to have to lose the video for a minute. Have a cunning plan. Back in a sec. I've got some glass in the hole, but the only way I could do it was to get messy. I had to take my gloves off. I couldn't get the glass in place with the gloves on. I couldn't feel what I was doing. It was just an absolute mess. So I've had to go in manually by hand, get the rest of this on. Sticky stuff remover. I'm going to have to slap all over in a minute. Clean my hands up afterwards, because as this starts going off, it's going to start warming up as well, and that starts burning. I wouldn't recommend it. Keep your gloves on if you can, but I just could not feel what I was doing. I couldn't get the glass into place. It kept sticking to the gloves. It's now sticking to my hands, you know what I mean, so it's not much different, but I couldn't feel what was going on with the gloves in there. I can't see and I can't feel it, so the only way I could feel what was going on and where the glass was going was by my fingers. Same with this bit. I can't let go of it once it's in there. Yeah, I'll just try my screwdriver. So poke it into the corner gently without tearing the glass. Up there. Really fiddly. Yeah, no. Get it going to the corner. Push down. That poking holes in it. Look at that. I'll wet this up. Stick it in wet. There we go. That's done. Right. A bit of CSM to go in the bottom of there. And then I've got the little bit to go at the front for the door shut. There's more resin up there for the CSM because that's going to go higher than the glass that's there. A bit more down the bottom. Before this goes off. It's not jelly, that's glass remnants in the resin. Right, now I want to see if this improves the look or makes it worse. I'm happy with the finish I got on the other one. This might work, it might not. Don't know. It'll make it look better or it'll make it look worse. I don't know at the moment. We'll see. It's only messier. That was one of the reasons I used the other glass. It's a lot easier to work with in this tight space. I was kind of hoping that the CSM wispy bits would help sort of feather it out neater, you know. I don't know at the moment. I'm not feeling it. Quite often it does give me a nice finish, but it all depends how well I can get it to stick down out the way, because I don't want to sand this. So you know, when you're sanding it, the CSM gives a nicer finish because it feathers out nicely with the sandpaper, you know, tapering it off. Obviously when you're just working it with a brush, I'm going to get that CSM look finish. So it might not be as neat, I don't know yet, we'll see. So I've got to wet it all out, take it all down, tap it all in. I can't have any little bits sticking out, poking out anywhere because I'm not sanding this. This is the finish. This is what it's going to be. I'm just going to be gel coating over the top of that. This is that. There. A bit of crack got in it there. Probably off my fingers. Well, that looks pretty good. Not happy with it. If you tap it in, sometimes you pull it down. You can mess it up very easily without realising. I don't want it setting like that. Right, I'll get rid of any of these little wispy bits that have stuck to the front, because they're going to dry up in the air. Can't have those. Grips and runs, get rid of them. Once this goes off, I'll be slapping some gel coat through it, so I think I'm going to bin the brush rather than cleaning it this time. It's such a mess, it's all over the place. That looks good. Hopefully there's no runs in there. Can't have anything sticking up because that's where it's going to set. And when I put the gel coat in there, we'll have a huge mess. Right, now the back section here. Back section, back of the top section. You know what I meant. Ideally, without touching any of that previous glass. This is where it gets really messy. I've got to get that at the top all coated with enough resin to stick my next lot of glass up without making too much of a damn mess in the bottom. So wipe that out, then you start moving the glass around. Get rid of that. That's that snotty lump of glass. That's it. I don't want that drying in the bottom. Right. I am so sticky. It is unreal. Not what I wanted to be doing at all, but needs must. I need this done, and this is the only way I can think of doing it. Really, it's just a bit of a pain, but. So I can gel coat this and then trim it off once it's all set without affecting the rest of the locker. Here we go, look, pulling strands out. Gently get rid of that. Pull it that way from this end, or drag it all back again. Right there, that's better. I'll work that resin through it. Ideally, gloves on, guys. Don't do what I've done. I have got some latex gloves, and yeah, I left them at work. I've got some new gloves of the other type that I've got, and I've lost them somewhere in the garage that's full of crud. So I need a major tidy up, clean up everything and sort out where everything is, find some bits, because yeah, I've got so much stuff and I just keep losing it. That's good. Right, tuck that top in and we're done. Now I need to get cleaned up before this stuff starts burning. It's starting to warm up now, so ain't gonna be long. Well, I've got to be very careful, don't want to splash this in my eyes. Goggles would be advisable, but problem then is I can't blooming see. Can't see what I'm doing. That looks good. Runs down there. Put that in because that'll all show up in the gel coat. Put that out. Also need a couple of bits of glass built up on there. This should be fun because I'm going to stick to everything. But while we're messy, I might as well just get it done, get it over with. That might actually affect me getting in there to gel coat it nicely. So, should I leave that? You know what, I've got to get in there to gel coat. I think that could get in my way. Nah, that'll be fine. Don't worry. Nah, ignore me. It probably will, but worst comes to the worst, I'll have to rip it out of the way. Okay. I've also got the resin mixed up. I just want to get stuff done. I'm not moving forward fast enough, you know, with the repairs. It's making it awkward because of the timing, having to stop to do everything. Let's snip them off like that. That's better. Now we can stick that up there. Snip that off there. Build that up there. I'll get that build up at the bottom. Square this off so that it gives me a straighter front for the hinges. There we go. Hopefully without ruining my shears. They're getting sticky. Everything's going to be sticky now. I don't care, I just want it done. Gotta go off. Come on, hurry up. Trying to make it as neat as I can so it's not in my way. Clean them up in a minute, bit of acetone. I'll need a bit more anyway, so I'm not worried about that. But I just want to get a bit of it on there while I can. And we can trim it out later once it's set up. There we go, that's done. Right, I've got to get cleaned up. Let that set up for half hour or so, 20 minutes, half hour, and see how it tacks up. Maybe an hour. There we go. For now, that is done. Can you see? Come on, got sun coming through the window. Right, so I'll put the cloth down, followed by a bit of CSM over the top. Hopefully that'll help transition that out so it looks all nice and smooth in there. It's coming up now, so it's kind of awkward to see what's going on. The glare coming through the window. I can't keep touching everything because it's all going to get in a right damn mess. So the wispy bits along the top will be trimmed afterwards. Good to me. Right, that's got to set up. That brush needs to go in the bin. Empty this out of here. There you go, resin's starting to gel now. It's not terrible, but we've got a little bit of jellifying coming in there now, so I'll get rid of that. Get rid of that brush, that can all go. Get cleaned up, and I can turn my camera off. I can't touch nothing at the moment. Okay, welcome back. There we go. We are set up now. It's not fully cured, but it's set. So it's been about an hour, I suppose, on the last ends of being able to get on with this, but we're ready to gel coat up now, so I'm just going to mix up some gel coat. You know, this stuff will take a good 12 to 24 hours to fully cure and set hard, you know, solid. So I've got a little window, but it's still slightly tacky, so we know we're good to go. So I'm going to gel coat in there, and I'm going to gel coat in there. I'm not going to get time to glass under it. That's all ready to get cracking with now and get that painted up with some gel coat.